Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss human reproduction part 2. This topic belongs to unit 6, multicellularity, structure and function, animal life. So before I start the main content, I would like to inform that the images used in our slides are for education or purpose only. We respect intellectual property right of the original creator and owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this PPT, have any concern, any issue, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. In this particular video lecture, we are going to discuss these points: reproduction, mainly human reproduction, female reproductive cycle, embryonic development in mammals, up to 3 germ layer, growth, repair and aging. So in last video lecture in part 1, we have discussed male reproductive organs and female reproductive organs. We have also discussed about the gametogenesis, gamete formation means a sperm and ova formation, right? Now, in this particular video lecture, we are going to start the topic with the hormonal regulation of gametogenesis. And in the gametogenesis, first spermatogenesis. How hormone regulate this process? Spermatogenesis means sperm production, sperm development. Okay, so first of all, as you can see in this particular picture, this hypothalamus is actually mainly stimulate the gonadotropic releasing hormone. Okay, this via this hypothalamus, and this as this gonadotropic releasing hormone stimulate, this immediately give its signal to another gland, that is anterior pituitary, right? So first signal generated from this side, hypothalamus, okay, and then this signal go towards adrenal anterior pituitary site via this hormone, and immediately this anterior pituitary stimulate two other hormones, that is luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Clear? So, and these follicle stimulating hormone is involved in the development on respective gonads. They provide their signal to this gonads, means ovaries and testes sites. Then immediately testes will generate this testosterone and then this progesterone, estrogen, sex hormones. So this is how this whole mechanism works. This is how these hormones actually regulate the spermatogenesis and other development of secondary sexual characters in male and females. Okay, as you know, this spermatogenesis start at the puberty stage, means for 13-14 years in male, due to increase in this particular concentration, gonadotropic releasing hormone, which is released by this gland. So these are the points which already I have discussed just now. This particular hormone stimulate anterior pituitary for this. Okay. Yes, this luteinizing hormone actually act on this Leydig cells. Okay, which promote androgen production, which stimulate spermatogenesis in male. Okay, and this follicle stimulating hormone targets Sertoli cells and promote them to secrete that nutrition. Okay, and some other factors which adding in spermatogenesis. So this is how this whole system works. Now let's discuss detailed structure of sperm. Okay, as you can see, this is the general structure of sperm. This is composed of acrosome, top part. Just below this acrosome, head is present. This head contains nucleus and DNA. After head, there is a mid piece which contains so many mitochondria which provide energy for the tail movement, which is just present just after the mid piece. Okay, so tail is actually responsible for the movement of sperm. So sperm composed of head, neck, middle piece, tail, and all these things are enveloped by a plasma membrane. Okay, head contain that acrosome part, and this acrosome contains so many digestive enzymes. Why these digestive enzymes is required? When it penetrate for the fertilization ova, that time this digestive enzyme is required. Okay, so it help in the penetration. This mid piece, this is the mid piece. Nucleus is present in the head. Okay, this is the acrosome. And in this piece, you can see so many mitochondria. This is mitochondria, mitochondria, mitochondria. So many mitochondria are present. Okay, and in the last tail, which is essential for sperm motility. During coitus, approximately 200 to 300 million sperms are ejaculated, from which at least 60% should have normal shape and size, and 40% should have vigorous mobility for normal fertility. Okay, so approximately 200 to 300 million sperms are ejaculated, out of which 60% should have a normal shape and size, and 40% have vigorous mobility, because this vigorous motility is required for fertilization. Okay, sperms are generated in the seminiferous tubules, right? And these sperms are further transported via various accessory ducts, which already we have discussed in last lecture, after the release of seminiferous tubules. So these are the seminiferous tubules. This contain, sperm, and via just crossing vasa efferentia, epididymis, vasa differentia, right? It further this is, where is the location? Okay, this is the testes, okay, which is the sperm production site, and through epididymis it will move towards the vasa differentia, right? Vasa deferens, and then ejaculatory duct, and then through some hormones which is released by various glands which is present, vesicle and bulbourethral glands. Their content also release in between, and whole things is then passed through this external genital. Okay, so secretion from epididymis, vasa deferens, seminal vesicle, prostrate, these are essential for the maturation of sperm and its motility. Now, this sperm, as you know, this sperms are mainly generated. What is the site? Site is this, testes, right? And from this particular site, it follow the path epididymis, vasa deferens, and through seminal vesicle, secretions of seminal vesicle, secretion of bulbourethral gland, secretions of prostate gland help in the movement of the sperm and its maturity. Okay, and it pass through various duct and then final external genital region. And this semen is composed of seminal plasma and sperm. So it contains sperm and seminal plasma, both the things. Some testicular hormone, means androgen, maintain the function of male sex accessory duct and glands. Now oogenesis means development of ova. So oogenesis began during embryonic development, forming millions of oogonia in each fetal ovary. Millions of oogonia. No new oogonia are formed after birth. And this is very important point. Okay, this oogonia start division, and after division it enter into the first phase, means prophase 1 of meiosis, and become primary oocyte. Okay, which get arrested at this particular stage. Okay, and then this primary oocytes are surrounded by granulosa cell forming primary follicle. These are the primary follicle. This is the primordial follicle. Okay, this is the primary follicle. Now, many primary follicle degenerate from birth to puberty. Many primary follicles, leaving about 60,000 to 80,000 in each ovary by puberty. So 60,000 to 80,000, because many of them is degenerated. They are already generated before birth, right? And they develop continuously, but they degenerated from birth to puberty, still leaving about 80,000 by this particular age, 13 year, 12 to 13 year in female. This primary follicle further develop into the developing follicle form. Primary follicle develop additional granulosa layer and a theca and becoming secondary follicle. So from primary follicle to the secondary follicle. Okay. So now let's discuss, let's see all the stages. This is the primordial follicle. This is the ova, oocyte. Okay, this is the nucleus. These are the granulosa cells. This further convert into the primary follicle. Okay, and from primary follicle to secondary follicle. Primary follicle to secondary. So this is the first stage. This okay, they already they have given the arrow. So this is the first stage. This is the second. From primary follicle to secondary follicle. Okay, and from secondary follicle to tertiary follicle with a fluid filled cavity. Now we can use the term antrum for this cavity. Antrum. This is present in the tertiary follicle. Okay, and there is a theca layer. Theca layer differentiate into the two different layers, theca interna and theca externa. These are the theca cells. Okay, and the primary oocyte in the tertiary follicle grow and complete the first meiotic division till this stage, forming a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body, as you can see over here. This is the large oocyte and first tiny polar body also released at this particular time. Okay, so large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body. The secondary oocyte retain most of the nutrient rich cytoplasm. This secondary oocyte. The tertiary follicle mature into the Graafian follicle, and secondary oocyte form zona pellucida membrane and is released from the ovary during ovulation time. This secondary oocyte. Clear? Now let's discuss the menstruation cycle. Menstruation cycle is a reproductive cycle in female primates, and this menstruation cycle begin at the puberty stage with menarche and occurring every 28 to 29 days. Okay, the cycle start with the menstruation phase, which is about 3 to 5 days. This is the menstruation phase, first phase, in which the endometrium of the which is present in the uterus is break down and just as a blood flow it released from the body. So 3 to 5 days time menstruation cycle, where the endometrium material line break down and expel if the ova is not fertilized. In that case only, if ova fertilized, then there is no menstruation cycle. Okay, and after that, after this fifth day, again follicular phase started, means development of endometrium start. Okay, and then after 14th day, ovulation, overdevelopment occur, and so 15 to 19 days known as ovulation phase. Mainly this time, 14th day, 14, 15 days known as ovulation time, and then after that luteinizing phase. So this is a cyclic process. These are the steps. Menstruation cycle, menstruation says 3 to 5, first stage. Second, follicular stage. Third, ovulation phase till 19th day, and then from 20th to 28th day, luteinizing phase. So this menstruation phase is followed by the follicular phase. Just now we have discussed, during which primary follicle develop into a mature Graafian follicle. That's why we use the term follicular phase for the same. Okay, and this time endometrium start regenerating. So these changes in the ovary and uterus are induced by varying level of pituitary hormone and ovarian hormones. Okay, varying level pituitary hormone. So initially from primary follicle to secondary follicle lays this gonadotropic independent phase. And then from this early enterial follicle phase, gonadotropic responsive, this is known as gonadotropic responsive phase, which is acquisition of FSH dependency. Okay, and then Atrian follicle to Graafian follicle. From Graafian follicle means follicle development phase, follicular phase, and after follicular phase, development of ova occur. So ovulation, and at this particular time, releasing of luteinizing hormone occur. From this phase to Graafian follicle, follicle stimulating hormone. That's why we can use the term follicle phase, na. So this phase is stimulated by follicle stimulating hormone. Ovulation occur in the influence of luteinizing hormone. So from Graafian follicle to corpus luteum phase, luteinizing phase is known. This is known as luteinizing. So that's why it is written over here. These changes in the ovary and uterus are induced by varying level of pituitary and ovarian hormone. Now this is 1 to 14 follicular phase. Clear? Means development of follicle. So at this particular time where follicle release of ova occur, this is the phase where follicle stimulating hormone, this sky blue color, luteinizing hormone are at its peak, maximum. Okay, and after the release of ova, okay, after the release of ova, slowly their level will get decreased. As you can see, this line, pink line and blue line, hormone level get lowering down. Okay, here also you can see this is the menstruation cycle situation 1 to 7 day, and this is the proliferation. Again, this is the ovulation, release of ova at 14th day, ovulation during this phase. Okay, and then release of ova occur, and then again restart regeneration of endometrium occur. So secretory phase, this is known as secretory phase. And in this particular phase, you can see over here, level of progesterone will increase in luteinizing phase. Okay, so during the follicular phase, this 1 to 14, gonadotropin hormones. Which hormone? Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Luteinizing hormone, slowly their level will get increase. Which why increase? Because it stimulates the development of follicle and estrogen hormone. Around 14th day, this both the hormone at its peak, as you can see over here, pink and blue, at its peak, causing a luteinizing hormone surge that trigger ovulation, means release of ova. Post ovulation, the lutein phase begin, where Graafian follicle convert into the corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum is mainly responsible for the secretion of progesterone to maintain the endometrium. As you can see over here, again development of endometrium start, and to maintain the thickness of endometrium, progesterone hormone is required, and this is released by corpus luteum. So after 14th day, the level of progesterone will get increased during lutein phase. Clear? So if fertilization doesn't occur. This corpus luteum degenerate, leading to endometrium again breakdown and menstruation start. So this is how menstruation cycle works, and the time limit maximum menstruation cycle is around the age of 50, and this stage is known as menopause stage. Now fertilization. During copulation, semen is released into the vagina. As you can see, these are the small sperms. So sperm travel from uterus into the whole this oviduct or fallopian tube towards this side, infundibulum side, towards ovary side. Okay, so it depends upon the motility of the sperm. Okay, so that's why 40% have good quality of motility. Just now we have discussed na. So motile sperm swim very fast through the cervix, enter into the uterus and reach the ampullary isthmus junction. This is the ampullary isthmus junction in the fallopian tube, where and at this particular time ova is also released from this ovary. Okay, so ovum released by the ovary is also transported from this particular region. So fertilization occur only if both ova and sperm reach simultaneously at this particular junction. Okay, reach junction simultaneously, then only this fertilization process occur. This is egg and this is the sperm. And this is the reason, this is why not all copulation lead to the fertilization and pregnancy, because it require the motility of sperm and ova. Okay, now fertilization process. The fertilization, what is fertilization? It is a fusion of sperm and ova. Correct? So sperm initially contact with the zona pellucida. This is the layer, zona pellucida, first layer of the ovum, blocking additional sperm entry. So very quickly it contact with the zona pellucida. And for the contact, initially the acrosome, which is present on the topmost position of the head, this acrosome contains certain digestive enzyme. So these secretions actually help sperm to penetrate this layer of ova, zona pellucida and ovum membrane. So, and this process trigger the secondary oocyte to complete its meiotic division and form a secondary polar body and haploid ovum. Okay, this is the outer layer of ova, zona pellucida. This sperm actually make contact with the egg. Immediately this acrosome reach with the zona pellucida and releasing its hydrolytic enzyme, as you can see over here. Then acrosome react with this particular space, perivitrinal space, and immediately these protein receptor recognize the sperm, and immediately the sperm plasma membrane of sperm and egg fuse together at this particular stage, and then sperm nucleus, further this is the sperm nucleus, enter inside the ova. Okay, and after entering, this cortical granule fuse with the egg plasma membrane, which render the vitelline layer impenetrable to the other sperms. The haploid nuclei of sperm and ova fuse and create zygote. So these are the steps. As the sperm make its contact with the zona pellucida, immediately it gives signals to the oocyte. Okay, and this trigger secondary oocyte to complete its meiotic division very fast and produce secondary polar body and develop a haploid ova. Immediately after recognition, this sperm nucleus enter into the ova and fuse with it. Now, sex determination in human. Baby sex is actually determined at the time of fertilization. As you know, in females, XX chromosomes are present. This is the female chromosomes. This is the male chromosomes. While male is having XY chromosome. Female ova carry same type of chromosome, X chromosome, while this male sperm carry either X or Y. So there is a 50% chance of a sperm to carry X and 50% chance, or we can say not 50% chance, 50% we can say sperm carry X and 50% Y. So if we cross both the things, if this is the female have only X chromosome, so XX, male have two type of chromosome, either X or Y. If it combined with this X, XX, this combined with this X, XX, if Y combined with the X, XY, Y combined with the X, XY. So 50% chance of male progeny and 50% chance for having female progeny. So which factor is determined what kind of sex is present in the progeny? It actually depends upon the male. Okay, because father sperm have two type of chromosome, X chromosome as well as Y chromosome, different type of chromosomes. So that's why father sperm actually determine baby's sex, not female. Now after fertilization, implantation. So mitotic division begin as the zygote move through the oviduct. This is ova. This is different stages of development of ova. Okay, this is the oocyte. Here after copulation, fertilization occur, means fusion of female and male nuclei, and then fertilization. After fertilization we can use the term zygote for the same. Okay, and in day 1 first cleavage, after first cleavage 2 cell stage, from day 3 to 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage, and then at 4th day 8 cell stage, means compacted morula has been formed. Okay, so very continuously from day 1 to day 4, continuous division, very fast continuous division occur. So cleavage occur, and which results 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell and 16 cell daughter cell, and a cluster of 8 to 16 blastomere is known as morula stage. Then this morula develop into the blastocyst while moving towards the uterus. Okay, so after this morula stage, now on the 5th day we can use the term blastocyst, early blastocyst. On 6th to 7th day, late blastocyst, hatching. And on the 9th day, 8th to 9th day, we can say implantation of this blastocyst. So blastocyst consists of trophoblast, outer, which is known as outer layer. This is the trophoblast. Okay, and a inner cell mass. This is the inner cell mass. Trophoblast attach with this innermost layer of the uterus, which is, what is the term innermost layer? Endometrium. Okay, so this trophoblast attach with the endometrium, inner cell mass, and then after the attachment, the inner cell mass become the embryo. On which day? 8th to 9th day. And after this, rapid cell division in the uterus occur, and it cover blastocyst, embedding it into the endometrium. And this process, at this stage we can use the term implantation. This process is known as implantation or initial pregnancy. When this embryo will get converted into the morula and then blastocyst, and the outer covering then attach with this endometrium wall, then only we can say implantation occur or initial pregnancy. Now at this stage it will give the signal for initial pregnancy. Okay, so after implantation, this trophoblast develop into a finger-like projections, these finger-like projections. These are known as chorionic villi. This is the chorionic villi. After implantation, the outer layer, we use the term trophoblast for the same. This outer layer develop finger-like projections. Now we can use the term chorionic villi for the same. These chorionic villi are surrounded by the other uterine tissue and maternal blood. This is the tissue and blood. Surrounded by the uterine tissue and the maternal blood. Intradigitate coronial villi and uterine tissue form the placenta. Now, this is trophoblast and uterine tissue. Collectively, for this whole thing, we can now use the term placenta for the same. Okay, and what is the function of placenta? Placenta actually function as a structural and functional unit between developing embryo and the maternal body. Means between the fetus, this is fetus, and this is the maternal body. So it acts as a junction, structural and functional unit. So why it is important? Because placenta supply oxygen to the fetus, it provide nutrition to the embryo and remove carbon dioxide and waste as well from the embryo. It connect the embryo via umbilical cord, facilitate substance transportation. It acts as a endocrine tissue, producing certain hormones like HCG, HPL, estrogens and progesterones. Okay, so these hormones are actually produced by the placenta. During late pregnancy, ovary secrete relaxin hormone. Why? Because during late pregnancy, this HCG and HPL and relaxins, these hormones are produced only during pregnancy, but in late pregnancy, this hormone is produced. Other hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine also increase significantly in the maternal blood. These increased hormone level support actually the concentration of these hormones increase during pregnancy, because they provide fetal growth support. They provide support to fetus growth, and they provide support to metabolic activities. Metabolic changes occur in the female body, mother's body, and to maintain pregnancy also. Okay, so they provide support to fetus growth. They provide maternal support to metabolic changes occur in the female's body, and they provide pregnancy maintenance. They provide pregnancy maintenance. Now, embryonic development and pregnancy timeline. After implantation, the inner cell mass differentiate into 3 different layers. Internal mass is further converted into the fetus, right? But initially it converted into 3 different layers. First layer, outermost layer, ectoderm. This blue one, ectoderm. This. Then just after the ectoderm, mesoderm. This red one, mesoderm. And the innermost layer, this yellow one, endoderm. These 3 layers form all adult tissue, all type of organs in the fetus. Okay, so inner cell mass contain stem cells capable to form all type of tissues, like from ectoderm, different parts like hair, nail, skin, nervous system will develop. From this mesoderm, different system, circulatory system, respiratory system, lungs, skeleton system, muscular system will get developed. From this endoderms, different other systems like digestive system, liver, pancreas, and inner layer of lung will develop. Okay, so these 3 different layers contains stem cells which are having capability to produce different parts or different organs of the fetus. Now pregnancy timeline. In the first month, this embryo's first heart form, and its heartbeat, doctor can detect its heartbeat with the stethoscope also and confirm the pregnancy. In the second month, limbs means this limbs and digits will get developed. In first trimester means 12 weeks, this first trimester, major organ system, limbs, external genital, like these, that's why it is written over here, sex organ differentiation occur during first trimester. In the fifth month, first fetus movement, hair appearance occur. In second trimester means 24 week. At this stage, the body cover with the fine hair, eyelids separate out, eyelashes form in second trimester, and in the 9 months, the fetus is fully developed and ready for the delivery. What is parturition? Human pregnancy lasts about 9 months. We all know this. The process of childbirth initiated by the signal start from the fetus and the placenta, causing a mild contraction in the uterine wall, which is known as fetus ejection reflex. Okay, leading to the release of oxytocin hormone from pituitary gland of mother. Okay, when fetus complete its whole development during this 9 month, so process of childbirth start. Process of childbirth initiated by the signals which is given by the fetus and placenta, and mild contraction of uterus occur, and a hormone which is known as oxytocin is also get help in this particular process. This how this oxytocin actually induce strong contraction resulting in the baby expulsion. The placenta is expelled post delivery. These are the steps. Okay, now lactation. Mammary gland is responsible for the milk production. Okay, mammary gland produce milk towards the end of the pregnancy. Initial milk is known as colostrum, and this is very, very important, very, very nutritive. Why? Because it is rich in antibodies, which is very, very important for the newborn immunity, because newborn doesn't have its own immune system at this time. At the stage of 6 months, it will start to develop its own immune system, and this initial milk, which is known as colostrum, contains some antibodies, mainly immunoglobulin A, which provide immunity to the various type of antigen present in the environment. So that's why doctors recommend breastfeeding for healthy infant growth. Okay, so this is all about the human reproduction, human reproductive parts, oogenesis, spermatogenesis, different hormones, how ova develop, how fertilization occur. These topics comes in under this particular portion. I hope most of the things has been cleared now. Still you have any query, any doubt related to today's video lecture, please let me know. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care, bye bye, and keep learning. Namaskar.